shine.
Okay, if it is like this, then I have to do this. But what is this? I have no single idea what to do with.
Hey, you okay? You seem very stressed.
It's already my second semester as a graduate student, but I still have no clue. I mean, yes, I know basics, like how to register for a course or how many credits I should fulfill for my graduation requirements. But you know, those little things that you might not find in the official guidelines. So,
You mean like how to choose your academic advisor, or maybe how you should approach them in the first place?
exactly, I feel like I should have already been doing with my thesis, maybe going to a conference, but I'm just clueless. I wish I had a senior who could have told me all these kind of useful tips.
Ah, like advice from a senior, or as what we call them in Korean, a seonbae, someone who has gone through it all before you.
Absolutely.
Do you know that there's this ongoing project called Advice from Seonbae?
No, what is that?
It is a project started from the Department of Anthropology, and now it is operating under SNU Office of International Affairs too.
Oh, what kind of project are they working on?
They are making unofficial guidelines for international students as supplementary material. And note this too, they are specifically designed and planned by the international students. Think of these guidelines as a seonbae that you have never met before. Inside the guidelines, you'll find written advice and know-how tips from your seonbae who have been through it all first before you. It is specifically crafted for your academic journey and also for your survival in South Korea as international students.
Interesting. Could you tell me more about it?
Oh, I would love to tell you more about this very awesome project, but I know someone who definitely can explain better about this project. Shall we go meet this person? Hello, here with me Professor Olga Fedorenko, Professor of Anthropology at Seoul National University, and also one of the Advice from Seonbae Project initiators. So, hello, Professor.
Hello, Natalia. Wonderful to have this opportunity to talk to you about this project.
Thank you so much for agreeing and also, being in this interview. So, just by the name of the project, Advice from Seonbae, I feel like you must have some sort of philosophical thoughts behind this. So, would you mind sharing the ideas behind this project?
Well, I don't know about philosophical, but definitely anthropological, because, the project started in anthropology department. As you know, Seonbae is a very important person, a very important people in Korean's life. So Seonbae is someone who is your senior in any institution of belonging. So university would be one place where you make a lot of seonbaes, and hopefully they remain important people in your life. But actually, when you are a student, seonbae are people who you go to ask questions when you don't know what to do. Because even though, let's say, our university has very extensive guidelines for many situations, but like small practical decisions, like which course to take, which professor is okay, who causes students a lot of trouble. For that, you need informal advice. And who could give you that advice? Seonbae. And having worked a lot with international students, I did notice that one major disadvantage they have is that coming to Seoul National University, they don't have those seonbae they could easily reach out to. So we envision this guide as basically a kind of substitute from that seonbae figure. So international students have that resource where they could find some tips, some useful information which is not obvious, which is not readily accessible from official guidelines. So that's the philosophy.
Okay, so well, I totally resonate with that because most of the time, the most useful tips and most practical tips actually come from those who have been through it all before me. Not the official guideline, but actually through a seonbae who has ever experienced that first and it give me some useful tips. So may I know what kind of guidelines are available for now?
So the project started in anthropology department. And it was kind of informal conversation with some anthropology students, with graduate anthropology students I was working on, and we were kind of sharing, well, I guess frustrations with lack of information. And one of them was doing design anthropology, Oksana Chondrakova. So she suggested, like, why don't we do something? And I'm like, well, why don't we do something? So in a way, it kind of started very informally, and then we talked to some other students in anthropology, and we decided to, like, okay, let's try use our anthropological tools and, well, make something immediately useful. And originally the project was contained to anthropology department. We started with graduate school guides, like master's, PhD. So those the ones we developed first and kind of like the original prototypes. And then 1 year after that, I was teaching an undergraduate course, Globalizing Korea. And I designed the course that as one of the course assignments, students had to work in groups and develop guides for particular issues that they thought are most relevant for their life in Korea. So like they created 5 or 6 guides. So those are kind of topics that students themselves identified as kind of most confusing and most important to address. And we identified 6, and they basically researched those guides and prepare that information. So we have like information on how to use SNU library, because apparently many international students find it difficult. There is some guide on food, particularly on finding vegan foods around campus. So kind of pretty narrow issues, which actually very important to people, but generally often overlooked by many guidelines.
So I heard you also are trying to expand the project. So can we get a little bit sneak peek into it?
Yes. So in this semester, in spring 2025, we got support from Office of International Affairs to, well, try to expand this. And we circulated a call for papers, just gauging interest of international student body to get involved in this, because the fundamental idea, it's a guide for students from students. So Seonbae are other students, so we kind of need other students to participate in this. So we are working on preparing a guide for Graduate School of International Studies graduate program. We have a team who's preparing a guide for BA anthropologists. And we also have a team that's preparing a guide for international exchange students. And that one actually I'm particularly excited about, because my feel is international exchange students are here for 1 semester, maybe 2 semesters. So they are the ones who badly need Seonbae and have very few opportunities to get them before they start. So we're hoping to be that nice 착한 Seonbae who help them with their studies.
Wow, just totally wow. It sounds like the project is getting bigger and better. But do you have any short-term or even long-term visions for this project?
Well, it's ideally, in the ideal world, I would like to see this project expanding to the whole of SNU. And, you know, our university is putting a lot of effort into internationalization. We are attracting a lot of international students, you know, for regular degrees, for exchange programs. Also, Korean government is putting a lot of effort to attract more international students. And we do need resources to help them. And of course, Office of International Affairs is doing a lot. There are other programs, each department is doing a lot of stuff, but I do still think there is this niche for student-centered self-help organization. So ideally, I would like to see it expanded to the whole of SNU, for each department, each program to have such a guide. Also, again, in my ideal vision, I don't know how naive or unrealistic it is, but ideally I would like to see it that basically it kind of becomes a living document, that each cohort of incoming students benefits from this guide and haven't benefited from it, kind of updates it to make it, well, you know, reflect the most current regulation, because like one of the problems, they change it all the time. So each year, like some student group takes initiative to update those guides, and it kind of becomes a nice way for students of different cohorts to connect with each other. So in itself, like working on the guide becomes a way for international students to become more closer hubaes seonbae just by working on that guide together. So ideally, I would like to see that happen, and let's see what future holds.
Well, I also cannot wait to see where this project is heading towards. I feel like I'm sensing there would be a lot of fun and cool projects coming to our way. So Professor Fedorenko, thank you so much again for your time, and also thank you so much for sharing your insights to this project.
Thank you for talking about this, and please direct many students our way.
So maybe you should join also next semester. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a project they are having. It's such a shame that I didn't know about this project.
Well, the project has not been around for long, and they also just started expanding this project to more departments.
Sounds like a fun project to participate in, but well, before that, I gotta make sure I survive my academic journey first. Then maybe I can try helping my junior too with my own experience.
Sounds lovely. By the way, you can check out the unofficial guidelines released by Advice From Seonbae Project by clicking the link on the description box below.
I will make sure to check it out and spread the news to others. This is awesome.
Well, we hope you find this information as helpful as we are.
Catch you later!